I cohabited with Victor for 7 years, during which he was unfaithful 8 times, each affair involving a different woman. On the 9th occasion, he embraced Lana in the presidential suite of a 5-star hotel, selecting lingerie and planning a wedding photoshoot in Paris. I stood at the doorway, clutching the newly signed breakup agreement, laughing hysterically, prompting him to frown and ask, "Hannah, what the hell are you laughing at? Have you lost your mind?" Without responding, I silently texted a man, "The agreement is signed. When do I join you?" He replied instantly, "Tonight, at the Imperial Capital private airport. I'll pick you up." Moments later, my bank card pinged with a deposit of 80 million, labeled betrothal gift, eliciting a cold smirk as I pocketed my phone and walked away. Victor continued to berate me from behind, "You wretch, without me, you're less than a dog." Unbeknownst to him, I had spent the previous night with his nemesis, Ethan, an experience far superior to anything he offered. A greater twist awaited. He assumed I couldn't survive without him, oblivious to the intricate trap I had set, poised to ensnare both him and Lana in a devastating fall. I was once the chief financial officer of the Wu Group and Victor's partner. 7 years prior, I was a fresh graduate from Peking University's finance department, brimming with ambition to transform the world. Victor was then a prominent figure in the Imperial Capital's business sphere, in his early 30s, charming and eloquent, pursuing me relentlessly with his limited edition Bugatti and enough roses to overwhelm my neighborhood. Swept away by his flattery, I mistook it for love and naively moved into his mansion as his fiancée, only for his true character to surface within 6 months. His first infidelity was with Lana, a new intern in her early 20s, whose voluptuous figure and coy demeanor were irresistibly seductive. Victor brazenly took her into his office in my presence, leaving the door unlocked, the sounds from within causing me both embarrassment and agitation. Furious, I smashed his antique vase, but he dismissed it with a check and a casual remark, "Hannah, don't fuss, men play around, you need to be more tolerant." Clutching the check, my hands trembled uncontrollably, yet I ultimately suppressed my outrage. The Wu Group and my families by group were deeply intertwined, and my father's dying wish was for me to preserve this marital alliance at all costs. Thereafter, Victor cycled through a parade of women models, influencers, anchors all young and beautiful, lavished with his affection, while I, like a fool, remained in this gilded cage, cooking and cleaning for him and his lovers. Lana was the most audacious, usurping not only Victor but also my office, my car, and even my bed. Once, clad in my silk nightgown, she lounged on our bed and winked at me, "Sister Hannah, this bed is so comfortable, though a bit worn. Victor should replace it soon." Victor roared with laughter beside her, patting her thigh, "Darling, I'll buy you anything you want." I scrubbed the floor in silence, fighting tears, thinking, "Hannah, you're utterly pathetic." This time, however, I faced our breakup with calm detachment. Victor expected me to grovel as before, but he was mistaken. I was no longer the Hannah who would weep and self-harm. Last night, at Ethan's private estate, I sipped 1982 Lafite in his arms as he whispered, "Hannah, leave that scoundrel, I'll give you the entire Imperial Capital." Ethan, Victor's archrival, was another titan of the Imperial Capital's business world, known for his ruthless tactics and enigmatic origins. His gaze upon me was predatory, brimming with possessiveness, yet I was indifferent so long as it made Victor rue his actions. I'd willingly be anyone's prey. On the day of our breakup, torrential rain drenched the Imperial Capital as I stood with my suitcase outside Victor's mansion, my fingers pruned from the downpour. He emerged from his Maybach with Lana, scoffing, "Well, Hannah, really leaving? Without me, you won't even have a roof over your head, will you?" Lana giggled behind her hand, cooing, "Victor, don't say that. Sister Hannah is still the Bai family heiress, how could she be so pitiful?" Ignoring them, I quietly summoned a car via my phone. Perhaps feeling humiliated, Victor seized my arm, his tone impatient, "Stop pretending, Hannah, where could you go? Come back with me, accompany me to a gala tonight. Since Lana can't appear, you can fill in for her." I wrenched my arm free and stared at him icily. "Victor, We've signed the breakup agreement. You no longer have any authority over me. Stunned briefly, he sneered, fine, grown bold, have you? Just wait without me, you're nothing. With that, he ushered Lana inside, slamming the door and splattering me with mud. Standing in the rain, I clenched my fists, venomous hatred gnawing at my core. Over 7 years, I sacrificed immensely for Victor, my youth, dignity, career, and even my father's legacy, the by group, which he steadily eroded. Meanwhile, he reveled in debauchery, surrounded by women, treating me as an unpaid servant and a shield. I loathed him, but loathed myself more for lingering so long in this rotten relationship. My phone buzzed with Ethan's message, the car's at the airport boarding in 10 minutes. Taking a deep breath, I hauled my suitcase into the vehicle. Through the window, the Imperial Capital glittered brilliantly, yet my heart was frigid. I resolved to shed my former self and exact retribution on Victor and Lana from that moment forward. The plane touched down on Ethan's private island late at night, the illuminated European-style manor by the sea resembling a fairy tale castle. Dressed in a black suit, Ethan awaited me on the tarmac with a dozen bodyguards, extending his hand with a slight smile. Welcome home, Hannah. Hesitating briefly, I took his warm, reassuring hand, my pulse quickening. Following him into the opulent manor, where crystal chandeliers cast dazzling light, the staff greeted me in unison. Good evening, madam. Startled by the formality, I was steadied by Ethan's whisper, from now on, you are the mistress of this estate. In 7 years, Victor never afforded me such respect or status, merely an expendable appendage to him, whereas Ethan made me feel truly valued as a woman. During dinner, Ethan poured me a glass of red wine, his intense gaze fixed on me. Hannah, tell me what you desire, Victor's life or his company? Sipping the wine, I pictured Victor and Lana's faces and gritted out, I want them ruined, stripped of everything. Ethan smiled, very well, I'll assist you, but I expect something in return. Standing behind me, his slender fingers grazed my neck with a suggestive warmth. Tonight, stay with me. I froze, torn internally. Ethan was no altruist. His aid stemmed from his vendetta against Victor, using me as a weapon, yet, with no retreat possible after Victor's destruction of my life, I had to seize every chance for vengeance. I turned around, took the initiative to kiss his lips, and whispered, deal. That night, Ethan and I stayed in the master bedroom of the manor until dawn. His kisses were hot and overbearing, and every kiss seemed to want to devour me. Closing my eyes, images of Victor and Lana fueled a vengeful thrill within me as Ethan breathed huskily in my ear, Hannah, you exceed my wildest expectations. Awakening the next morning, I found Ethan gone, replaced by a black card and a note on the bedside, 500 million on the card, use it freely. We return to the Imperial Capital this afternoon, prepare your strategy. Unlike Victor's hollow gestures, Ethan's calculated moves were resolute, offering me a genuine opportunity to reclaim my agency. Upon returning to the Imperial Capital, I settled into Ethan's Tianchi mansion, an 1,800 square meter penthouse duplex commanding views of the city's bustling expanse. From the floor-to-ceiling window, I called a veteran by group shareholder, Uncle Wang. I intend to reclaim my father's shares. Uncle Wang sighed over the line, Hannah, Victor has gutted the buy group over the years, the shares are now in Lana's name, retrieving them is nigh impossible. Impossible? Then I'll make him disgorge everything he's taken. Hanging up, I opened my laptop to compile Victor's misdeeds. As the Wu Group's CFO for 7 years, I held damning evidence: tax evasion, bribery, illegal fundraising, each sufficient to ruin him. I organized the evidence into files, anonymously submitting them to the Imperial Capital's tax and securities authorities while coordinating with Ethan's team to escalate public scrutiny. 3 days later, the Wu Group stock crashed amid a deluge of online scandals. Victor, frantic, stormed Tianchi Mansion, bursting in with curses. Hannah, are you insane? Reporting me? Do you realize this could destroy the Wu Group? Lounging on the sofa with coffee in hand, I replied leisurely, destroyed? Perfect, Victor, you ruined me for 7 years, this is merely retribution. His face contorted with rage as he lunged at me, only to be restrained by guards. Ethan descended the stairs, encircling my waist, and stared at Victor coldly. "Victor, Hannah is mine now. Touch her again, and you'll have no place in the Imperial Capital." Victor froze, his face alternating between pallor and flush, before snarling, "Hannah, just wait, you'll regret this." He stormed out, slamming the door, yet I found no solace in Ethan's embrace. I knew Victor wouldn't surrender easily. He'd retaliate, and Lana, that vixen, wouldn't remain idle either. Indeed, within 2 days, Lana posted a lengthy Facebook article titled "Love Ruined by a Despicable Woman." She tearfully accused me of seducing Victor and shattering their true love, displaying intimate photos of us from 2 years prior, images Victor had taken to lure me back into marriage, now repurposed by Lana as laughably crude evidence. Public opinion erupted, with online vitriol against me overwhelming. The hashtag Hannah the Mistress trended for 2 full days. Victor capitalized with a press conference, feigning victimhood. "Hannah was my greatest love, but she betrayed me. It hurts, yet I hope she'll return." Watching his theatrics on TV from Tianchi Mansion's living room, I nearly hurled the remote in fury. Ethan, unfazed, handed me a file. "Review this." Inside were Lana's detailed records. Not just an intern, she'd been involved with multiple tycoons behind Victor's back and implicated in his money laundering. My eyes gleamed. If this leaks, Lana's finished. Ethan arched an eyebrow. "No haste, there's more. Victor's recently partnered with an underground bank to transfer assets and flee. I've got eyes on him." A jolt ran through me. Ethan's ruthlessness exceeded my expectations. He aimed not merely to ruin Victor but to obliterate any chance of recovery. Gazing at him, I probed, "Ethan, why help me so much? What's your motive?" He smiled, tilting my chin with an suggestive tone. "You, Hannah, my desire has always transcended mere revenge against Victor." My heart skipped, yet unease flickered within. Ethan's kindness felt too perfect. Each move a chess play. Am I his pawn or his genuine affection? Victor's press conference fueled online fervor, Lana's victim persona gaining traction, thrusting my name to the top of the hate-filled trending searches. Keyboard warriors branded me shameless, a homewrecker, a gold digger. I shut off my phone, raising my wine glass, the liquid glowing blood red under the light. Ethan approached from behind, encircling my waist, his breath warm against my ear. "Angry? Angry?" "They're not worth it," I replied. He chuckled softly, his fingers tracing my collarbone teasingly. "Exactly, Hannah, anger is for the weak. You must learn to crush them beneath your heel." Turning, I met his gaze, eyes deep as an abyss, concealing mysteries beyond my grasp. "Ethan, where did you source that evidence? How deep is your feud with Victor?" His smile was enigmatic. "Curious? You'll need to offer something in exchange." He leaned down, kissing me with undeniable dominance. I neither resisted nor fully yielded. Ethan's kiss was a sweet, addictive poison, thrilling yet perilous. I knew his aid wasn't born of some romantic delusion. He had his own agenda, and I was but a piece on his board. Yet, so be it. If it meant Victor and Lana paid, I'd play that piece, even if it led to my own consumption. The next morning, Ethan's team unleashed Lana's dirt. Videos spread online, showing her in revealing gowns, embracing balding tycoons with flirtatious laughter. Bank transaction screenshots revealed millions in service fees, flipping public sentiment. The hashtag Lana the Escort surged explosively. Netizens denounced her as manipulative, fake, unfit even as a mistress. Her Facebook was overrun with demands to leave the Imperial Capital. Victor, rattled, called me. "Hannah, did you do this? Are you mad? Lana's being vilified online. She's nearly broken." Reclining on the sofa, filing my nails, I replied airily, "Broken? Isn't that ideal? Victor, don't you relish women crying for you? Lana's tears should delight you now." He roared over the phone, "Hannah, don't gloat. Lana's innocent. Those videos are fabricated. I've hired the best PR team, she'll be cleared soon." "Innocent? Are you blind or brain dead, Victor? How many men has Lana bedded behind your back, don't you know?" Stunned briefly, he erupted, "Wretch, just wait, I'll make you pay." Hanging up, I felt no satisfaction. Lana's disgrace was severe, but Victor's foundation endured, offering him a chance to recover. I needed to act swiftly to sever his lifelines completely. Ethan entered the living room, handing me a file. "Victor's underground bank dealings are pinpointed. Tomorrow, I'll arrange to intercept his funds. Once bankrupt, he'll have no footing in the Imperial Capital's business sphere." Opening it, I found detailed records of Victor's billions in underground transactions. Startled, I asked, "Ethan, with such stakes, aren't you risking yourself?" He grinned like a cunning fox. "Fear? Hannah, I've thrived in the Imperial Capital for 20 years. I fear no one." Pausing, his gaze darkened. "However, you must handle this personally. Victor trusts you most, only you can bait him." Ethan was positioning me as bait, entailing immense risk. 3 days later, I arranged to meet Victor at the opulent Grand Hyatt, its top-floor revolving restaurant aglow, overlooking the Imperial Capital's neon skyline. In a low-cut black gown and meticulous makeup, I sat by the window, a spider awaiting her prey. Victor arrived punctually, suited yet visibly worn. A flicker of admiration crossed his eyes before a sneer. "Hannah, what's this act trying to win me back?" Raising my glass, I winked. "Win you back? You overestimate yourself. I'm here to discuss business." He sat, impatient. "What business?" I handed him a forged contract, posing as a buy-group financing plan. "The buy-group needs capital. I propose you invest, contingent on returning your buy shares to me." Stunned, he laughed uproariously. "Hannah, are you deluded? The buy-group's a shell. Why would I give you the shares?" Feigning resignation, I sighed. "Fine, Ethan's already pledged funding. I only offered you this chance for old time's sake." At Ethan's name, Victor's expression shifted. "That who? What's he given you to make you so loyal?" Leaning close, I whispered, "Benefits? Everything you couldn't provide, he can." Pausing, I added suggestively, "Including in bed." His eyes darkened, fists clenched, words hissed through gritted teeth. "Hannah, you're vile." Laughing giddily, I drained my glass. "Vile? You made me this way." As I rose to leave, Victor grabbed my wrist. "Wait. I'll give you the shares, but return to me. Leave that bastard who." Wrenching free, I said icily, "Victor, you're in no position to bargain. Transfer the shares to me by tomorrow, or you'll regret it." Departing the restaurant, I felt Victor's dagger-like stare. I knew he'd taken the bait. Ethan's strategy was to entice Victor into moving assets, then sever his financial lifeline at the critical juncture, bankrupting him utterly. But unease gnawed at me. Victor wasn't foolish. Would he fall so easily? The next day, Victor indeed transferred the buy shares to me and signed the fabricated contract. Receiving the shares, a long-absent elation surged within. The buy group, my father's legacy and my sole anchor, stripped away by Victor over years, was finally mine again. Before I could rejoice, Ethan called. "Hannah, well executed. 8 p.m. tonight, Dock Warehouse. Victor will handle the transaction personally. You must be present." Stunned, I protested. "Me? Ethan, it's too dangerous." His tone chilled. "Dangerous? Hannah, revenge demands a price. Rest assured, I'll ensure your safety." Hanging up, I gripped my phone, palm slick with sweat. The Dock Warehouse, a lawless hub of the Imperial Capital, teemed with unsavory figures. Victor's contact, a ruthless underground banker, made it a perilous venture for a woman like me. Yet retreat was not an option. At 7 p.m., clad in black tights and a mask, I accompanied Ethan's guards to the dock. The warehouse was dimly lit, reeking of seawater. Victor was already there with burly henchmen carrying black suitcases. His counterpart, a scar-faced middle-aged man, exuded a serpentine menace. As the deal commenced, tension hung taut. Victor opened a case revealing cash, which the scarred man inspected and approved, signaling for a hard drive. Then rapid footsteps and gunfire erupted outside. Ethan's men stormed in, igniting a melee. I cowered in a corner, my heart pounding furiously. Spotting me, Victor's eyes flashed with shock before he cursed. "Hannah, you dare betray me?" Before I could respond, a bullet grazed my arm, searing with pain. I dove to the ground, fixated on survival. The clash lasted 10 minutes, Ethan's forces prevailing. The scarred man was subdued, and Victor pinned down, battered and bruised. Ethan entered, his suit blood-stained, glancing at me calmly. "Hannah, stand, the performance ends now." Post-brawl, Victor's funds were wholly seized, and the underground bank's records fell into Ethan's hands. Kneeling, hair disheveled, Victor spat, "Hannah, you wretch, even as a ghost, I'll haunt you." Facing him, I saw a broken man for the first time. "Victor, how you treated me 7 years ago today is merely justice." Ethan approached, arm around my waist, taunting Victor with a smile. "Victor, your woman and your money are mine now. Leave the Imperial Capital, or lose your life too." Victor glared, eyes brimming with hate, speechless as guards dragged him away, leaving the warehouse steeped in blood and silence. En route to Tianqi Mansion, I leaned back in the car, my arm bleeding. Ethan offered a handkerchief, his tone unusually tender. "Does it hurt?" I shook my head. "No, compared to 7 years, this is trivial." After a pause, he remarked, "Hannah, you're more ruthless than I imagined." Startled, I looked up. "Ruthless? Aren't you the same, Ethan?" He didn't reply, merely tightened his grip on my hand, a complex emotion flickering in his eyes. I sensed his feelings for me might be more intricate than I'd assumed. Yet, time for reflection was scarce. Victor was down, but Lana remained, unlikely to relent, and Ethan's true motives remained shrouded in ambiguity. Back at the mansion, I checked the buy group status online. All shares were now mine, and its stock was steadily climbing. I'd reclaimed what was mine, yet joy eluded me. 7 years of humiliation couldn't be erased overnight. I craved a decisive triumph, not just Victor's ruin, but Lana begging at my feet. Standing by the window with a hot coffee, my mind replayed the dock warehouse chaos. Victor's funds were gone, the Wu Group's stock plummeted, barring him from the business circle, yet relief evaded me, sensing the drama was unfinished. Lana vanished for days, seemingly crushed by public backlash, but a woman like her wouldn't exit the stage willingly. Ethan approached, handing me a file. "Victor's final overseas assets are frozen. He's truly destitute now." Inside were records of Victor's Cayman Islands accounts, modest sums, yet sufficient for a resurgence. "Ethan, how do you uncover even this? How many cards remain unplayed?" He smirked slyly, tilting my chin. "Hannah, know only that I can grant all you desire." His fingers slid to my neck, warm and suggestive, including Victor's life. Pushing his hand away, I said coldly, "I don't want his life, I want him alive, witnessing his total loss." Ethan raised an eyebrow, admiration glinting. "Ruthless, I admire that." Pausing, his tone grew grave. "But Lana's stirring. She's contacted a local gang leader to target you. Stay vigilant." Lana didn't disappoint. Such underhanded tactics suited her perfectly. 2 days later, a raspy voice called, "Hannah, 10 p.m., abandoned suburban factory. Come alone, or your secrets will flood the Imperial Capital." Stunned, I pondered what secrets beyond Victor's dirt? The caller hung up, leaving no time to think. I kept it from Ethan, wary of being his pawn again. At 9 p.m., in a bulletproof vest with a small taser, I drove alone to the suburbs. The factory loomed like a derelict specter, thick with rust and mildew. Stepping inside, footsteps echoed, and Lana emerged from the shadows in tight leather, her face heavily made up. "Hannah, I didn't think you'd dare," she sneered, flanked by tattooed men wielding iron bars. Approaching, Lana slapped me hard. "Wretch, you've destroyed my life today. I'll make you wish for death." Clutching my face as blood trickled, I suppressed rage. "Lana, you think these thugs can handle me? You're too naive." She laughed maniacally. "Naive? Hannah, know what I hold?" She brandished a phone, playing a video of Ethan and me in the island bedroom, explicit and damning. My heart sank. If released, my reputation would be irreparable. Waving the phone smugly, Lana taunted, "Well? Kneel and beg, and I might spare you." Clenching my jaw, I calculated rapidly. Her boldness hinted at a backup plan. I feigned fear, whispering, "Lana, where'd you get that video?" Let's talk. She scoffed, curious. Transfer the buy shares to me first and leave Ethan, he's mine. Stunned, I sneered, yours? You're unworthy. Enraged, her face twisted as she signaled the men, beat her until she begs. They charged, I tasered one down, but outnumbered, I was soon pinned, pummeled relentlessly. Gritting my teeth through agony, I clung to one thought, I can't die here. Then gunfire erupted, the door crashed open, and Ethan stormed in with guards. Lana shrieked as the men were subdued. Ethan reached me, lifting me up. Hannah, why didn't you tell me? I smiled wryly. Tell you, and let you send me to my death? Silent, he glared at Lana, murmuring orders to the guards. As Lana was dragged off, she screamed, Ethan, you can't do this, I did it for you. Frowning, I sensed deeper complexities. Ethan guided me to the car, his tone grave. Hannah, I'll handle the video, but promise me no more solo actions. Back at Tianchi Mansion, Ethan had the video destroyed, yet my unease deepened, Lana's words echoing, Ethan is mine. How could a reviled mistress claim such ownership unless she and Ethan shared a hidden deal? I began discreetly probing Ethan's past. 7 years ago, he and Victor reigned as equals in the Imperial Capital's business realm until a foreign investment soured their alliance. Ethan left, returning 5 years later more formidable than ever. One chilling detail emerged: Lana had been Ethan's lover, approaching Victor 2 years ago to become his partner. This revelation struck like a hammer, recalling Ethan's kindness, the island refuge, the 500 million card, the dock risk. Was it all a premeditated scheme? Was I his pawn, or was Lana his true ace? I resolved to test him. That night, in a low-cut silk nightgown, I climbed into his bed, kissing him suggestively. Ethan, your kindness, have you long harbored feelings for me? Briefly taken aback, he pinned me down, chuckling, Hannah, are you seducing me? I didn't reply, kissing him as my hand stealthily sought his phone for call logs. Before I succeeded, he seized my wrist, eyes icing over. Hannah, what are you doing? My heart raced, but I feigned calm. Nothing, just wanted to see your wallpaper. He stared for seconds, then released me, his tone laden. My phone holds nothing of interest. Some things, Hannah, you're better off not knowing. That moment confirmed Ethan's concealment, a secret potentially the greatest variable in my revenge. Days later, Victor posted a video online, the true face of Hannah, weeping as he accused me of conspiring with Ethan to bankrupt him, brandishing forged evidence of my embezzlement from the Wu Group. Public outrage reignited, Hannah embezzlement topping trends, vitriol surpassing prior waves, the Buy Group stock tanked, shareholders calling to demand if I'd lost my mind. That cur, Victor, still conjured tricks in his state. Ethan, composed, handed me a file. Lana orchestrated Victor's video, stoking the flames to topple you through him. The file revealed Lana's calls with Victor, urging the video and promising his revival if he transferred the Buy Group's remaining assets to her. Lana won't relent until the end. Ethan raised an eyebrow. How will you deal with her? I gritted, I want her disgraced beyond recovery. Nodding, he gave me an invitation. Tomorrow night, Chamber of Commerce Gala. Victor and Lana will attend. Go, bring this drama to its peak. The gala, a pinnacle event for the Imperial Capital's elite, was my ideal stage for retribution, yet I suspected Ethan's motives extended beyond Victor and Lana. That night, the International Convention Center glowed, luxury cars amassed. Victor and Lana stood amid the crowd, he in a cheap suit, weary, she adorned flamboyantly, clinging to his arm with a smug, fox-like grin. Approaching with champagne, I drawled mockingly, well, Victor, Miss Lana so destitute yet daring to show your faces? Victor's eyes flared with hate. Hannah, don't gloat, your days are numbered. Lana giggled behind her hand. Sister Hannah, I hear the Buy shareholders pulled out. Are you starving now? As I opened my mouth, the venue's screen flared to life, airing a video. Lana with tycoons, then her recorded call with Victor. Post that video, ruin Hannah, I'll ensure your comeback. The room erupted, guests murmuring. Victor paled as paper while Lana shrieked, racing to stop the video, only to be halted by security. Mounting the stage, I took the mic. Ladies and gentlemen, Lana is not only a mistress but a consummate fraud. She colluded with Victor to frame me for embezzlement-proof lies in the video. As for Victor. Pausing, I winked at him. Your underground bank deals are under police watch, good luck. The crowd gasped. Victor slumped, muttering, it's over, all over. Lana was hauled out, cursing, Hannah, you wretch, I'll haunt you as a ghost. From the stage, I gazed down at the wretched pair, a profound satisfaction rising, 7 years of shame avenged at last. Then Ethan ascended, arm around me, declaring, as of today, Hannah is my fiancée. The bi and who groups will merge, forging a new legacy in the Imperial Capital's business sphere. Fiancé? Merger? Since when? Post-gala, I followed Ethan to Tianqi Mansion, nearly hurling my heels. Ethan, what's this? Fiancé? Merger? Who gave you the right to decide for me? He lounged on the sofa, pouring whiskey calmly. Hannah, to revive the bi group alone, a decade might not suffice. Merging with me is the swiftest path. Swiftest path or a pretext to annex bi? Setting down his glass, he approached, eyes abyssal. Annex? Hannah, do you think I've aided you so much just for bi's meager assets? Pausing, his voice softened. 7 years ago, Victor and I vied for a project. His dirty tricks bankrupted me and drove my father to suicide. I vowed his ruin that day, never imagining the best way was to claim the woman he cherished most. He continued, Hannah, I first saw you at a bi gala, in a white gown, presenting a finance plan. I knew then I wanted you. Helping you against Victor wasn't just for me, but to let you live with dignity. 7 years of humiliation taught me distrust, yet Ethan's gaze stirred doubt. I pressed, and Lana, was she truly your lover? After a silence, he nodded. 2 years ago, she was mine. I sent her to Victor for evidence, but she betrayed me, joining him. This time, I leaked that video to trap her. A masterful ploy. Ethan, you're quite the strategist. Unfazed, he took my hand, tone earnest. Hannah, my heart for you is true. Marry me, and I'll give you the Imperial Capital. Wrenching free, I stormed to the bedroom, slamming the door. My heart swirled with a tumult of hate and gratitude. A month later, Victor was arrested for illegal fundraising. Lana vanished amid further scandals, and with Ethan's investment, the bi group stock soared, reclaiming its prominence. From bi's top office, I gazed at the city lights, feeling hollow. Revenge's thrill, like fireworks, left only ashes after its brilliance. Daily, Ethan sent roses with a note, awaiting your consent. I ignored him but kept the flowers. 7 years of pain barred me from love, yet his persistence gradually thawed my frozen heart. 3 months later, I accepted his proposal. Our wedding unfolded on his island, sea breezes lifting my gown like waves. Ethan knelt before me, sliding on a ring. Hannah, henceforth, I'll protect you with my life. Gazing into his eyes, tears flowed freely. 7 years of shame and pain concluded then. Post-ceremony, I stood by the sea, casting away Victor's old ring. The waves swept all away. Turning, I walked to Ethan, realizing at that moment I had finally become myself.